crafty friends. In a previous video, I decorated this journal card in a vintage style. I'm now going to decorate a pocket for it. I'm going to use a matching large journal card for the pocket. I'm going to fold it up not all the way in half. I want some of the top of my journal card sticking out. So I'm going to fold it up about 2/3 of the way. Before I close any of the sides, I want to add a pocket in the front. I'm going to use a printed vellum, which has a really beautiful vintage feel. This vellum is from Taperlogy. I've stitched it in place with a sewing machine using a black thread. You could also use thin double-sided tape if you don't have a sewing machine. I'm now going to trim off the excess vellum. Always work with a larger piece of vellum than what you need, as it's easier to sew on the sewing machine, and then trim off the excess. Now I can't stitch down the sides or glue down the sides to seal this because then the card won't fit. It's a very tight fit. So after I distress the edge, I'm going to use my vintage tape that I've created to seal the sides. This aged tape is not my idea. I watched a YouTube video on how to create it, and it really is just using sellotape or sticky tape or scotch tape, whatever you call it, and adding alcohol ink after you've stuck it down onto a surface that it can be removed from, for example, wax paper or acetate. So by using this to close the edges of my pocket, I won't use up any of the space, so the journal card will fit in nicely. And it gives it such a good vintage look. I'm quite addicted to this vintage tape. I'm not quite happy with the tape on the right hand side. I've done it a long way, so I'm just going to remove it and do it the same as I've done on the left. I think that looks much better. And then my journal card fits in perfectly. And of course, we're not done yet. We need to fill our little vellum pocket. This is a great way to use little odds and ends that you have. I have these little bits that are just on my desk from previous projects that have a vintage feel. I'll distress the edges of some. I have some vintage tickets. Any little tags that you have, really any little things can go in this pocket. Just fill it up. Another great way to use up little scraps. I'm loving how this looks. It looks very chunky and layered. I'm not quite happy with the top section where it says today was great. I feel that's a bit too modern for the vintage look, so I'm going to cover that up. And I'm going to use a very quickly made paper ruffle made out of dress pattern tissue paper. And I'm sticking that down with clear craft glue. It also adds some great dimension and lots of interest to the pocket. You can leave the threads or you can trim them, whichever you prefer and whatever suits your project. And I want to add a little bit more depth to this, so I'm going to put a piece of Hessian string on my tag and tie it in a really big double bow. I really hope you enjoyed this project and were inspired to create your own. I would love if you subscribed to my channel and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Happy creating. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.